Okay. I thought I was going to have a podium, but I see that I don't. This is my buddy right here. He gives me a hard time, but this is my buddy right here. Y'all forgive me, this is my first time public speaking. As he said, I'm DJuna Duhon, and I'm here to give you a different perspective. That picture that's standing back there is my husband, who I lost March 2019 to this awful disease of prostate cancer. You're probably wondering why there's a woman here speaking to you about prostate cancer. Hell, I don't have a prostate, and I sure in the hell ain't going to get the exam. But I'm here to tell you that I stood by my husband on a 9-year journey. A little background, my husband was diagnosed at age 51 in 2010. He also had a very aggressive form of PC, which for whatever reason seems to attack our black men. He had a high PSA score, 2 biopsies, and the cancer still encapsulated within his prostate. After not only 1 second opinion, because I pushed, women, did you hear what I said? I pushed. There were 4 second opinions. And the different approaches to fighting the disease for him was surgery. 9 months later, it came back, and there was a small tumor in his femur bone. So this is where our story began. I'm not here to tell you about statistics. I'm not here to tell you about PSA numbers or Gleason scores, etc., or as a medical professional. Although when it was all said and done, I felt like I had a PhD in prostate cancer and a couple of other things. I'm just letting you know. I could go on about the list of books that I ordered, because my husband, when the doctor says cancer, you get, like Charlie Brown, wow, 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 wow. But I wanted some information so I could help my husband. I could go into the list of books for prostate cancer, couples after prostate cancer that I ordered, and every website link that I saved, but I won't go into that. I went into every appointment. Ladies, men, let your women, let your wives, your girlfriends go to the doctor with you so they can ask some questions. Don't shut down. Just bear with me for a minute. I had doctors ask me if I was in the medical field because of those questions that I researched and that I found out about. But I'm here to share with you from a wife's perspective, from a couple's perspective, although my other half is not here any longer. We often used to joke that this was a couple's disease, and I'm here to share with you things that doctors might be a little reluctant to share with you. I'm here that hopefully the men, if you have the mindset that this is one exam that you're not going to go get, that you will. Women, so that you can hear that this could affect your father, your brother, your uncle, your son. My son, who is here, will start his prostate exam early because his father passed away from it along with his uncle. So if you're sitting next to your wife or your significant other, I need you to take their hand. I need you to look at them, tell them you love them. Think about what you might be doing after the party tonight. I'm just saying. Wink, wink. Okay. Tell them you love them. And then think about if that feeling was gone. Just gone. And I mean, that's a form of intimacy. I'm here with my significant other, my love of my life, but I no longer have that feeling anymore. Prostate cancer can destroy, change, and strengthen a marriage. You're probably wondering why I say that. Because after my husband was diagnosed, it was kind of like the secret society. Oh, well, so-and-so has that. So-and-so has that. Well, so-and-so's wife left after 6 months because she was not going to hang with this, okay? My husband and I, we went through some struggles in the beginning. But my husband often said that if our men of color, husbands, brothers, fathers, truly knew the effect of prostate cancer, there would be a line around the doctor's office, around the building, around the block, and you wouldn't care where the doctor had to stick his finger. I'm just saying, okay? Men, I need you to listen to me. As a wife of 20 years, again, who lost her husband in March of 2019, you need to gain knowledge. You need to get the information beforehand. Don't wait until you're 50 or 55 or your brother has it or a friend has it. Doctors are reluctant to share. Doctors are reluctant to share, or maybe they just don't, about the aftermath of surgery, treatments of prostate cancer to men, about the emotional, the physical, the mental, and the intimacy issues that come with prostate cancer. Now, my husband, he had an aggressive form, granted. And yes, you'll hear that this is an easy cancer. Something else will probably take you out of here, but that is not always the case, especially for our black men. Again, my husband was diagnosed at age 50. Once the dust settled and the shock wore off and the surgery was completed, the real work for my husband and I began. One thing I'm going to just talk on briefly, one of my husband's medications, fortunately we had insurance, was $10,000 for a 30-day supply. This could have put us in financial ruin. Thank God, again, that we had medical insurance. Let's talk briefly about the emotional and the mental state. My husband was very outgoing. Anyone that knew him, he was a workaholic. He loved his family. He loved his friends. He loved to dance. He loved to fish. But this disease took him to becoming a man in the very beginning who didn't even want to leave the house. And anybody who knows Willie Duhon knows that wasn't him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just don't move.
He became a homebody. Let's talk about the effects, the psychological effects, the depression that men, I know, y'all don't like to admit, okay? Because you want to puppet. You know, I'm good. I'm cool. I'm all right. Ain't nothing bothering me. I got this thing, okay? My husband was that man as well. But I found a notebook of his where he wrote, where he went up in the game room and he cried, but he didn't want me to see because he didn't know how to handle, because he didn't know about this depression. He didn't want to admit that he was depressed. Let's talk about the psychological effects that it has on what I consider myself to be a strong black woman. And then to also have my husband have to take a medical retirement about 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. About 3 years ago. He loved his job. He loved to work. He was a provider, a protector, all of those things that I know that the men in this room are. Let me talk about the family. I have my son and my daughter here. There were times that mama had to intervene because dad was tripping, okay? I had to pull my husband's coattail many a day. Say, baby, you need to just bring it down a little bit, because he was ready to yell at the kids, kill the dog, and everything else. I'll let the kids, maybe at another venue or something, they can explain their story. Okay. So now I'm going to get real for a minute. Men, I need you to listen to me. Let's talk about some physical effects. Let's talk about the incontinence that can last a week to a year and make a man not want to leave the house except to go to work. That was what happened to my husband in the very beginning. And I'm not ashamed to tell you, because you need to know these are the things that the doctors are not going to talk to you about. Let's talk about the medication that is used to knock out the testosterone, because this is what PC feeds off of, causing, I want you to hear me, A medical castration. Men, did you hear what I said? A medical castration. If you want to know what that is, come talk to me in the back in the corner. I'll explain it. I'll elaborate a little bit more. I hope I have your attention, but it can take a man that sticks his chest out, Bobby, and make him feel less than a man. How it takes a man who was once loving, affectionate, intimate, and change him into a man who does not want to be touched, does not want to open up about finding new ways to be intimate. Now, before you say it, I know that there are a lot of different ways to be intimate. I'm not talking about just sex. If I can, we're all adults here. Y'all got it, okay? It comes in many forms. I'm not just, like I said, I'm not just speaking sexually, but all forms to disappear, because the medication that he has to take takes away the libido, drops the testosterone. Men, are you listening to me? So that you have no desire for your significant other or your wife. Wives, girlfriends, that's a hard pill to swallow. 20 years of marriage, that's a hard pill to swallow. My husband not only told me, but the doctors, that he could not stand his wife's touch. Do you know what it felt like to hear that? Not because he didn't love me. I was his everything. But because of this medication that he had to be on. These are the things that the doctors don't tell you about. These are the things that I lived. Whew, I could jump up and down in the night and he would tell me, baby, move out the way because I'm trying to watch my Western. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. Let me just keep it real. I think I'm pretty damn good. I mean, what? Okay. I'm just saying. Bobby, I'm trying to hurry up here because I know I only got a few minutes here. I just wanted to keep it real for you. But yes, at first I know, you marry your best friend and all that, God's got it and all of that. But I have to admit, I felt rejected. Okay? So it can take a person, it can take a couple to turn you into roommates. Trust me, I understand that most men are sensitive. This is a sensitive issue to talk about. But it's time for you to gain knowledge and information. That talk that may cause you to feel a little bit vulnerable. Talk to your wives. I'm just scratching on the surface of what we went through with the beginning of our journey. I don't have the time to share with you the entire 9 years. Trust me, there was so much more. Last 3 years of my husband's life was about acceptance. The last 2 years were hearing and processing that you have a year to live. My husband died at age 60. My husband shared with his friends, our friends, couples, what he was going through so they wouldn't be blindsided like we were. If my husband can walk into Men's Warehouse and tell them that he needs a suit to lay down in, to tell them that he needs to be casket sharp, knowing that his days were numbered, and proceed to tell the young man about health issues, taking care of himself, making sure you get those exams. The least I can do is pick up the reins as a wife, continue to share with men, couples, and women, so that prostate cancer does not have to destroy your marriage or change your marriage, and so that you can have this information. Willie Duhon loved me till the end, and I loved him. And I just wanted to share a portion of my story. Okay, so